Welcome to the High Performance Man podcast. I am your host, John Fayocavitz. On this show, I interview successful men who have built impressive careers and businesses, founders, CEOs, and senior leaders, professionals who have operated at a high level for years. We talk about what actually made them successful. So the goal is simple: to learn directly from the men who have done it so we can apply those insights into our own careers, businesses, and lives and continue raising our own standard of performance. Our show is sponsored by the Prime Performance Method. The Prime Performance Method is designed specifically for high-performing men who have achieved success in their careers but feel like their body and energy have taken a hit along the way. We help busy professional men regain strength, lose weight, and feel younger without long workouts, extreme dieting, and disrupting their schedule. If you are a high-performing man who wants to feel strong and energized as you are successful, message me on John Fayocavitz on LinkedIn. On today's show, we have Otto Pijpke, who is the founder and principal owner of the Otto Group, where he is a storyteller and communication expert. Otto, thank you so much for coming today.
Yeah, you're welcome, John. It's nice to be here. Thanks for having me.
Looking forward to it. Okay. My first question, Otto.
Yeah.
What is the most important lesson you've learned so far that's helped you become successful in your business?
The biggest lesson for me, I think, is that you need other people, and so from very from very young age, I've been very good. I think that's because I'm a pretty social person, is to build those relationships, like right out of college, actually, with people that are my friends, people that were colleagues, and stay in touch with them and make sure that you have a network of people that you can rely on, because you never know when you may need, somebody as a reference, or somebody as a potential business partner. I mean, I'm working with a woman right now who is an old friend, but we kind of connected, and our businesses are actually working together. So it's to me, the network and building that network is actually incredibly important.
And what I'm taking out of it is not going on it alone and having the foresight or thing to say I need help.
Yeah. Because I mean, I've been a communications professional all my life. I started as a journalist and then moved into public relations, and I'm very good at that. But there's a lot of other things that I need help with. I'm not super good with finances, for example. So I need somebody to help me with finances. I'm also, like, I work with technology companies a lot, but I'm not a technology guy in the sense
you're looking right at the same one.
What's that?
I'm like looking in the mirror. I'm not technology. That's my biggest flaw.
Yeah. And so, for me, it's like I to admit that to myself and say, yeah, I'm not good at that, so I need help with that, is, I think, really important. And so I've always, like, when I built my teams over the years at different companies that I've been at, I always look for people that basically have the things that I don't have. So I'm kind of a big picture guy, so I tend to look for people that have a strong, eye for detail. So kind of to build those strengths that I don't have, to basically build a team that's really, really, really good. So
Awesome.
that is that's one of the biggest ones, I think.
Now, how long have you owned the Otto Group?
I'm only a couple of years in. We're actually coming up on our second anniversary. It's my second company that I've owned. I owned a company called Loud Whispers before this, and I walked away from it after I got an offer from Amazon Web Services to come work for them. But a couple of years later, I decided to go back. I really like working for myself.
Yeah.
I worked for big companies for many, many years, about 20 years between Intel and Microsoft. Enjoyed it, but when I went back to Amazon, I really realized that I liked the pace, and I liked working with a lot of smart people, but I really like working for myself. And I'm at a point in my life that freedom that it gives you, that you can basically say, I'm taking a day off because I got to do something. Is great. And so I own everything. I've been building the business. I do my own finances, even though I'm not very good at it. So I have an accountant, and so that's that's kind of where I'm at. But yeah. So I've had it now for 2 years.
So you mentioned you have a team underneath you, or do you go just by yourself?
Right now, I have a couple of contractors that work with me. Uh,
Okay.
as I get more clients, I've got a couple of clients right now. That one is a really big client, actually. It's actually one of the top startups in the U.S. Over the past year. So I've got some big clients, but I've got I call it's a collection of um, senior people that have all kind of similar things that I do. So I have a graphic designer that if I need help with that, I can lean on that person. I
Okay.
have somebody that is a really good writer. That if I need somebody for in that particular capacity, I'll do that. So it's more of a group of consultants. We all kind of work
Okay.
for each other, but we also work for ourselves. And it's been a vision that I've had for a while, like working with people that you like to work with and that are friends and then make some money together.
That's awesome. Well, explain to my audience then, Otto, what exactly is Otto Group and what do you, I see
Yeah,
storytelling. I mean, what is it that Otto Group does?
everybody seems to be a storyteller these days. So I have to explain that. I think what we're really good at and what I personally have been really good at over the years is basically take very complex technology stories and make them palpable for audiences um, that are maybe not as technical. Over the years, I've worked with at Intel on processors, which is a hard thing to understand, and software, which is even more like it's not even like you can't even grab it. Software is sitting in a machine, right? Or
Right.
at Microsoft, and I realized I was really good at talking to engineers who generally are not good at this particular piece of
Storytelling.
storytelling is not something they do naturally, and if they do, it's very technical. And I got very good over the years at basically helping them explain what their product or their technology does, it to a point that, and I always would say, explain it to me if I were your mom. Like, how would you explain this to your mom? And then I would build the messages and the story itself that we took out to either to the media or to investors and like that's a lot what I do today is going companies that want to get in front of investors and have the investors understand what their product
Okay.
is and make
Awesome.
sure that they understand what is unique about this particular technology or this particular product. And um, I think I excel at that. I was a former journalist, so I'm really good at kind of vetting what the actual story is, and so it's always a lot of interviewing of my clients, whether they're a CEO or founder, and then taking that information and building that into a story that a majority of people could grasp. And that
Okay.
is, I think that's where
Awesome.
we have all the connections within the analyst community and the journalist community. And so we are also very good at then taking that story and pitching it to the right, audience to get coverage.
Okay. So that's my next question. So once you get down, you simplify what they do or what, get out of technical terms. Do
Yeah.
they take that and market it or do you market it for them?
No, they do both. The story that I work on is I always tell them this. People need to hear a story or a message 7 or 8 times before it resonates. And
Hmm.
so what we do is we help them in a workshop to basically build that story. We go back and forth a couple of times, and then we land on and say, okay, this is it. And they have to feel good about it, and I have to feel good about it. And then
Right.
what we do is we take that out to not only their website and have it reflected there, but as they talk to within the company, that they all use the same language and the same words and the same messages, because that's the only way that you actually, by being consistent in how you talk,
Right.
right? That's the only way
Awesome.
is that you get that. And so and then we help them with either industry analysts, like third party references that basically that people go to make buying decisions,
Mhm.
or we actually go to the journalists with whom, many of whom, especially in the technology space, I've built relationships over the years.
That's great, Otto. Super. Hey, my next question. What do you think hinders a lot of men today from reaching their full potential?
Um, well, I think men in particular tend to be stubborn. I'm one of them.
That's
And and I think what I see with a lot of men, and in particular, is that you're stuck in in an old way of thinking, and to actually, I'll give you the example of AI.
Mhm.
Um, about 4 or 5 years ago, it started coming into the companies that I worked with, even longer than that, actually 7 or 8 years ago. And I thought, what is this? I'd like this. This seems a lot of gobbledygook. I wasn't sure where it was going to go. I was interested in it, but I'm very stuck in my ways, and I do things in a certain way. And not until about 2 or 3 years ago did I actually start using it. And and it was until somebody younger actually came to me and said, and it was a female that said, "Have you used this product?" And I said, "No." And I started using it. I was like, "Oh my God, this is really good. This is really taking away a lot of legwork that I normally have to do myself." And I actually, so the ability to be open to change and be open to new ways of working, and not getting stuck in the old ways of working, I think is what especially men of my generation,
That's
and maybe even generations before me, really struggle with. I think because
yes.
we did things in a certain way, and then we go, well, that's the way I've always done it. Why doesn't that work today? And I
Yep.
and the ability to adapt and say, no, no, I can, and be able and be curious enough to learn. And that's what I always say. I think because of my career, and being a foreigner, and having worked in technology for a long time, curiosity is actually what a lot of men, I think, miss, because
Right.
you get stuck in a certain rut, if you will.
Yeah. Well, I'm right with you. Okay. Because I'm stubborn too. And I'm telling you, the reason I want to start a podcast, I'm getting a lot of information from different people.
Yeah.
And it's opened up my mind like, you would not believe. I mean, I wouldn't be open in accepting this if I didn't hear it from other successful people. Okay. And
Yeah.
you were talking about the AI. We had one uh, gentleman on our show the other day, and he used the AI to get clients. Okay.
Mhm.
That took him months to try research the people and get the human resources and get all the people. Now he goes through AI and it was done in 17 minutes.
Yep. It saves you a lot of time. And I use it. I use it for everything now. And
Yep.
so, it's like you don't really need certain team members and people anymore, because no, I shouldn't say it that way, but certain things, tasks that were you had to do yourself, you don't have to do anymore. And that includes
Right.
simple things like managing your calendar, for example.
Yes.
So they're all things that, like, it's actually great. I
Yeah.
really like
And I got to start getting on the bandwagon.
it.
My next question, Otto, is for most men on the road to business or professional success, other areas of the life get sacrificed. What's been one area of your life that's suffered, if you have, but where you'd like to be successful now too?
I think the biggest thing is my health over the years. I when I worked for two Fortune 500 companies in executive roles, and they were both, high pressure. And then if you have a family, I have two kids, and I was married for a long time. And you between that and your work, which tended to be 70, 80 hours a week, um, there's not a lot of time for you to actually focus on your health. You eat poorly, especially when you're on the road a lot. You maybe drink a little bit too much at times because you go to all these dinners and
Yep.
events and all that stuff. And then you don't work out as much as you should. And before you know it, I'm a tall man. And so I remember one time I stood on the scale and I was getting into what I call shack territory. Shaquille O'Neal was a big
Yep.
man, and I'm like, I need to do something. So I towards the end of my career as working for these Fortune 500 companies, I kind of put my foot down. I said, I got to start working. I got to eat better. I got to take care of myself better, and I have to sleep more and all things like that. And I think that is the biggest thing. I think that I think most men that I know forget.
Yep.
They skip those doctor's appointments, and they skip the physicals, and they skip and I now do physicals every year. I
Right.
mean, it's like, and it's an executive physical that I do through a specialist, but they measure everything, and if something's off, we work on it.
Right. And like you said, you did this in the beginning of your career, your health. You neglected your health.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And it's obviously changed as you've gotten older and you've grown into your businesses and things like that. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's awesome.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. So my next question, where do you find yourself? And this is a curious question for me because I like to know different things from people.
Yeah.
Where do you find yourself most at peace?
There's a couple places. I find myself at peace. This is weird, probably when I travel. I travel a lot because I have family on the other side of the ocean, and so I for some reason that gives me a lot of rest if it's personal travel, not if it's work travel
Right.
and after I work out, usually I
Okay.
feel good. I feel good about what I've just done, uh,
Right.
and whether it's a round of golf or it's just sitting on a bike for half an hour in the gym. I usually that usually calms my whatever anxieties I have down. So that's usually where I feel the best.
Okay. Awesome.
Obviously, when I'm around my kids and
Right.
Lee and my girlfriend, sure,
Right.
that's part of it too. But I think from a like pure like Zen perspective, I think that's my
Okay.
moment. Yeah.
And just to piggyback off of that, I'd like to
Yeah.
know again, find out it's interesting for me. Do you have a special morning routine at all?
No. My morning routine is I get up usually around somewhere between 6:30 and 7. I like as I get older, I seem to be waking up earlier. I don't know why that is. Um, um, my first thing is to get a cup of coffee. I should be eating breakfast, but I usually am not hungry. And then I check my email. I check my what's on, if anybody has contacted me, what my clients are doing, and then I'll get some food. I would love to be a guy that works out in the morning. I really would, but my body doesn't seem to like that at all. I'm
Right.
an after work kind of guy, so I usually go in the afternoon. Yeah, so that's my morning routine. Oh, and I do
Okay.
the spelling bee.
The spelling bee.
Yeah, it's the
What's that?
it's the New York Times. Uh, um, it's a game where you form words out of letters. And so they're known for Wordle, but spelling bee, my girlfriend and I both play it. And
Okay.
that's like, and I really like playing it because I'm a guy that works with words, right?
Words.
Yeah.
And that's
So it's like,
probably another place that puts you a little bit at peace doing the words.
yeah, I know. I really like it. I'm just like, this is my coffee and
I mean, anything that you enjoy doing to me is peaceful. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
I agree. I agree. I agree.
That's what I look at it. If you enjoy doing something, your work can be peaceful is if you enjoy doing it. Like,
I
go ahead.
I forgot one actually. I forgot
Okay.
my my actually I just mowing the lawn like it's really that's the other one. So
Good. Beautiful. All right. Last thing, Otto, if you were to give one piece of advice to other men that are on their journey of achieving success or just starting out, what would that be?
well, it's back to what I said earlier. I think because I think the one thing I've learned over a career that spanned basically the introduction of the internet, the introduction of the web, the introduction of mobile phones and laptops, and the introduction of Bluetooth and all these other things that came over the years, and now it's AI, have really, society changes, and we're not the times of our dads and moms even, that you work for the same company for 30 years and that you do the same job for 30 years. I've been lucky that I still do the same work, but it's changed the way I do it, the way I work it. It's different now. And being open to that change and being curious about how you could do a job differently or do a job better is I think that's the one thing I would say, be open to change and be curious, because I think that's a thing that could really, that can really help you deal with society as it changed because of, I don't know, technology or politics or whatever.
Right. Okay. Awesome, Otto. Well, Otto, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show. Okay. Thank you so much for taking the time to be on and sharing your insights of your business and what you do and how you accomplish your success. Okay.
Appreciate it. Thanks, John.
Sure. As a reminder to everyone listening, this show is brought to you by the Prime Performance Method, where we help high-performing men rebuild their strength, energy, and confidence without sacrificing their careers. So if you're ready to feel strong in your body as you are successful in your business, message me at John Fayocavitz on LinkedIn. Until our next episode, perform strong in all areas of your life.